So we are indebted. That's a social contract that you sign. When you are born as a member of any tuba, you are indebted to that tuba. So you owe people, and that debt you owe, you have to pay it. So when he was born, he was named for the sake of the tuba. I want to tell you that names have meaning. Even when Jesus was born, before he was born, the angel came and said, your name will be Jesus because you will save your people from their sin. Yeah. So if you are here and you think about your name and your name has meaning, why do they give you that name? Why are you named or Beware? Or why are you named Chiwre? Names, it is not by coincidence. So angels used to come to give people their names. All throughout the Bible, and maybe you don't know, but I'm from Biblical Mission, so I got Christian business in me. So in the Bible, Moses was given a name. Anybody who met God or who had an encounter with God, the name was changed to reflect the work that they were supposed to be doing now. So you see Saul changed to Paul. According to Bible scholars, the reason sin entered into this world entered through Eve. Because Eve did not have a name. Adam was the one God placed in control. And Adam gave a name to every animal, every beast of the earth. So when he looked at Banyan, he said, your name is Banyan, that was it. When you look at alligator, that was it. But when they brought Eve to Adam, Adam did not give Eve a name. He gave Eve a category. He said, you are from my bone, and so you will be called a woman. Woman is a category, it's not a name. So when the devil came to tempt Eve, Eve had no name. So Eve did not have an identity. So when the devil said, did God really say this? Eve became utterly confused. Why? Because Eve had no name, no identity, so she could fall for anything, and she did. Why am I saying this? Because we have someone in our midst whom the family name Tuba. Today we have a situation in our country where there is nobody who is reflecting that now, or even in our organization. There is nobody who's going to say, I'm going to sacrifice my personal comfort for the sake of the tuba or for the sake of the whole. I'm going to suffer some personal inconveniences. Tuba. I'm going to go through the pains and allow myself to be walked on, to be trampled on, my name to be spoiled, but I can go through that because of the family. Most of the time we hear of corruption in Liberia, we hear all the bad things because nobody is able to say, even though I have mortgage in America to pay, but I'm not going to steal the money because of the whole of the country. I want to do this because of Liberia. So that's why I said name, and it is not by coincidence that he was named that. As you're going to see from my reading, he has lived up to the true meaning of his name, saying, okay, I'm going to go through some things, but because of the tuba, I'm not going to join what everybody else is doing. Because of the whole, so that's somebody who looks at the big picture. Somebody who said, okay, because River G has to be one. Because, I could punch back. I could stay away from the convention. I could do X, Y, Z. But because of Tuba, so I'm going to come. Because of Tuba, I'm going to let it go so that the organization can still remain intact and achieve its true meaning, which is coming together for the betterment of every one of us. So I just want to stress that, and not because, and that is his calling. Not because your name is not Tubate, or you are not playing that role of sacrificing your own personal comfort for the good of everybody. It doesn't make him superior than anybody else, but it just gives him a calling. Each of us has a calling that God, through his infinite grace, has placed upon our lives. So you have to live that. Tubate has done his part. And I'm going to read briefly who he is. Not to introduce him to you, but just to give you that background. He started school at the age of 8. If you were in America, they were going to call his parents for keeping the child home. I think you have had some of those calls. In 1974, that was when a public school was established in Sivoken, and he was among the first students. In 1979, from 1974 to 79, he completed 6th grade, and he had to enroll at the junior high school in Ketoken, that's the Ketoken Junior High School, during the 1980 academic year. He promoted to the 7th grade at the end of the first semester, not the whole year, but the first semester he was promoted to 7th grade. And then in 8th grade, 1980 and 81, he enrolled at the Zwedru Montolato High School. At the end of 1985, he became the Deuce for Zwedru Montolato High School. Councillor Tubate Nembali Wono got his BSc from the University of Liberia with honor, called cum laude. He studied economics. When he went to law school, he deuced everybody summa cum laude from the University of Liberia, and then came to America to do more law. He got his LLM from the Cornell Law School in Ithaca, New York, USA. He's a member and treasurer of the River G Bar, member of the Supreme Court of Liberia Bar, and the New York Bar. He's also an assistant professor of law at the Louis Otto Graham School of Law. He's member of the Board of Examiners of the Supreme Court of Liberia Bar. He's a founding and senior partner of the Heritage and Partners Associate Law Firms, through which he currently practices law in Liberia. Nimbali has held a number of prominent positions in the civil society of Liberia, as well as in government. In civil society, he served as the president of the Liberia National Student Union, member of the Board of Federation of Liberian Youth, member of the Board of Open Society of West Africa, OSIWA, alternate member of the Board of Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. In government, he served as administrative and then commercial manager of the Liberia Telecommunication Corporation, assisting in-house counsel and then executive director of supervision at the Central Bank of Liberia, first head of the Liberia EITI, chairman of the board of directors of LPRC, etc., etc. I can't even name all. Nimbali has been involved with the affairs of his community and county. He served in several leadership roles in development, association, and students' organization of his community and county. He actively contributed to the efforts in establishing River G County, and when there was a major confusion among River G citizens residing in Liberia or in Monrovia, he was asked and accepted by all the leaders in a meeting that sought to achieve a solution for that problem. He also contributes to programs at the River G University Student Association, including advising them, speaking to them, their program, and making some financial contribution. He is happily married, in fact that's an understatement, and he's blessed with 4 children, 2 of whom are in college. Ladies and gentlemen,
Mm-hmm. Again, well.
How about you?
Bati.
Yeah, please, have your seat. Yes.
Got to go with.
Uncle George Tinabe, the president of the River G Citizen Association in America. Uncle Harris.
Y'all leave it. We can hear you.
Ambassador Commander Biwisa. Alfred. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Ambassador Commander Biwisa, Minister of State with our portfolio, an eminent son of River G County. Head of RICA's chapters. Members of this great organization, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm so honored with the introduction that when my colleague was putting in perspective the significance of my mean and achievement and all, I almost started to think what I was myself. I'm quite honored, and I have to thank Dennis first for the very kind introduction. And I want to also begin by thanking you, because I have been given opportunity to speak at many occasions, programs. I haven't had a chance to attend your program and to be given such an opportunity. So this was one occasion that I put in place. And I want to thank the President. I'm particularly honored that I will be given a chance not only to join you in this 13th convention, but to be able to give the keynote speech, especially at a time when our country is faced with crisis of political challenges, including the Ebola crisis. Our county is in dire need of every possible assistance, and even your association has its own challenges, all of which cry out for our responses. I wanted to think about what do I say to such an important gathering. And I said, no, I have had a chance to speak on a number of issues, but if I have the opportunity to speak to my people, I want to talk to them from my heart and to reflect on the shared challenge we have as people from Riverview. And I wanted to then share with you that earlier this year, in May, I went home, along with the senior senator of Riverview County and other people and citizens from our county, as part of the Riverview Bar Association, where we hosted the lawyers in Liberia. And we were warmly received by our people and the superintendent of the county, who entertained us and treated us with the maximum hospitality, which is still being recognized by our police who have asked us to go. Everyone contributed. And although there is not an occasion to do, but we have to pay respect to our own distinguished son, Uncle Wiesen, who in fact made available his own very distinguished premises that were able to host some of the justices that went with us. So it was a very good thing. But yet, while I have to tell you of my recent visit home, because the visit to Fishtown, we start in Waypo County, in Kilipo County, and my own village of Sibo, provided me a useful opportunity to see the challenges and opportunities of our county and people, and to discuss with a wide array of our people on their fears and their yearnings. It also enabled me to realize that while there is really this lack of poverty, development, infrastructure, and employment opportunity in our county, there are also prevalent wasted opportunities, untapped talents, and various resources in our various villages, towns, and communities that could be used to develop our county and our country. I therefore have a very recent first-hand knowledge of the coexisting of both, one, the stack on the development of our county, and two, the prevalent wealth, talent, and opportunities available to be tapped to make Riverview the best, or one of the best developed, educated, managed, and laid out peaceful and prosperous county in Liberia. Those opportunities. Of course, the situation in Riverview is similar to that of our own dear country, Mother Liberia, which is also facing one of the most trying periods of its existence as a country. The crisis facing our nation is not only the failure of the government to contain the Ebola virus, but it is the matter of the continuing deficit of courage, of foresight, of integrity, and of tolerance among Liberians themselves and their leaders, which have provided the background for the current crisis. And I would dare say that the challenges facing Riverview County and our country are in some manifestation reflected in your organization, at least as evidenced by the correspondence I have seen and some of the conversations I have had. And from conversations that I've had with many persons, or a few persons, it appeared to me that there are some of us who, because of these challenges, tend to express frustration, if not regret, as to the fact of our being from River or even from Liberia. Unfortunately, each of us was born in a family and tribe, as well as a place, not chosen and not have been chosen by us. We were born as refugees. We were redeemed. A Jew is a Jew, an Arab is an Arab, just as a Grebo man is a Grebo man, and a Creole man is a Creole man. We are all bound by that. But here is the important point, as I get to speak on the brief statement. Now, why we are without much choice about our ethnicity, our birthplace, and the identity of our parents. There is much control and influence that we can exert over where we live, where we hail from, and what our environment is. In fact, all you must constantly engage with their environment in varying forms, influencing more or less positively or negatively. The key question for you, therefore, is 2 points as you convene this conversation. It's a question of to act or not to act, and whether to contribute positively or negatively. And that is why my talk to you is about what do you have to contribute to Rica's progress and to the development of our county and country. As Rica's hosts its 13th national convention, there is important what have you to contribute. As Rica hosts its 13th national convention, and I hope I got the history correct. The question to the association and each of you here is, what have you decided or got to contribute towards fostering unity in Rica and realizing the goals and missions of this great association and for the development of our county and country? Admittedly, Rica may not be making much progress, and it is in fact presently somehow divided. But what do you have to contribute in resolving this problem and advancing progress? Are you contributing to resolving or reversing the division and resulting poor impact of Rica? Or is your contribution towards more backbiting, negative language, and perpetuation of the divisions that undermine progress? What have you to contribute as an individual and as a group or as a chapter? This goes beyond Rica to our county and country. With respect to River G, we all know that it's certainly one of the poorest and undeveloped counties in Liberia. It lacks roads, hospitals, schools, and other key infrastructure. But it has the potential to be the best laid out county in Nigeria. It has the potential to be the breadbasket of Nigeria. Let me repeat that while we acknowledge that our country is undeveloped and lacks all the basic infrastructure, it does have the potential to be the best laid out country, to be the breadbasket of Liberia, to be an example of good county administration and the most unified county.
Yes.
Yes. These objectives are highly achievable except through the positive contribution of each G. So what have you to contribute to this endeavor? There's a constant refrain among Liberians in the diaspora about the level of economic, political, and technological development in the West. What is not equally emphasized by these Liberians is that the level of development in these Western countries is the fruit of the collective contributions in skills, investment, and participation by their nationals. And at the same level of development, or more can be achieved in Liberia and in our counties and communities. The Liberians contribute to their country, county, and community as much as they are able. So the question to you is, what have you to contribute as an individual and as an organization to the development of our country and Liberia? My dear people, individuals or group, a community, a county, or a country is an architect of its own destiny. True, there are external environmental determinants, but generally, the development and well-being and overall development of an individual, group, or community depends on internal actions taken and choices made. This fact emphasizes the importance of the quantum and quality of the contribution of each individual within the collective. No situation is permanent, and nearly all problems can be improved or worsened depending on the kind and quality of contributions made by everyone concerned. The question to each of you, therefore, is what have you to contribute to RICA, to River G, and to modern Nigeria? Let me spend the last 2-3 minutes to reflect on contribution to RICA, contribution to River G, and contribution to our country. RICA is evidently not enjoying the best of organizational unity, acceptable leadership, and shared vision, as I understand. In fact, others have used the word, quote-unquote, divided to describe the relationship among members of RICA. There is evidence of contestation of leadership, legality, and narratives. And this is detrimental to organizational growth and effective contribution of RICA to county and country. It is neither helpful nor necessary to detail the challenges and problems I understand are facing the association. It is enough, though, that every well-meaning member of RICA realizes that the current state of affairs in the organization is not helpful. The question to each of you today and hereafter is therefore, what have you to contribute to restoring unity, common purpose, inclusive leadership, and a forward march to pursuing the agreed purpose and principle of RICA? Can you contribute, or are you contributing to promoting dialogue? Or is your contribution to encourage boycott of meetings and clearly discourage any frank, honest discussion of the cross claims and grievances? Are you one in leadership position who is not demonstrating tolerance, accountability, and inclusivity? Or are you a RICA member whose criticism and disagreements are expressed in abusive language and a continual refusal to see any element of good in the one you oppose? What have you to contribute? Progress in RICA and every organization depends on whether there are more positive contributions compared to negative contributions. So what has each member of RICA to contribute to RICA as we convene and conclude this convention? What's my contribution to River G County? While it is true that River G is a very poor county, as I said, it is worth noting that the loss of people was far less, that the lot of our people was far worse than today when we were part of Grand Union County. Dissatisfied with the state of affairs while we were part of Grand Union, including the many indignities suffered, a number of citizens from River G made a maximum contribution and sacrifices, including some of those who are here with us today, to see that we have River G County. They help to establish the processes and institutions we have in place today. Yes, some of their contributions were not perfect, but they did make some. What have we and what have you to contribute to build on what they established? The question, therefore, is not to complain about what doesn't exist and what has gone wrong with River G. The question is, what can you and what can we contribute? The capacity of the county is admittedly not the best laid out of cities as I have been saying, and there are not many modern houses to host high caliber dignitaries visiting the country. What have you, as individual member of River G and as association, to contribute in terms of ideas and other means to help the city layout, city design, and city planning? What have you, as individual and as an organization, to contribute to housing development, agricultural investment, and support of education? Remember that effective criticism is better expressed in constructive interventions and proposed solutions. said, what have you to contribute to the development in our country? Many citizens of Liberia, including Jibo, decried the poor governance, rampant corruption, and lack of national unity in Liberia. Unfortunately, not many Liberians are willing to contribute to doing what is required to change the unwanted status quo. In fact, many Liberians look forward to the United States and international organizations to engage in regime change on their behalf. It is not beneficial and or likely. As Gandhi said, one must work for the change he desires.
Yes.
Any meaningful and durable change to the socio-political and governance system in Liberia requires Liberians to rise to the occasion and make the necessary sacrifice. There is no Messiah that will come to redeem us. We have to redeem ourselves for our people.
Yes.
This requires some bit of sacrifice from our comfort zone, from what we could obtain, and from what we are even eligible to obtain, but for our political positions or comments with it. So what have you to contribute as individual and as an organization for the development and democratic governance of Liberia? My dear brothers and sisters, you have